Okay, here's that book by John Steinbeck's son Thomas, and with illustrations by, or photographs, I guess, by his friend. It's a preview, so there's only 13 pages here. This is the very first page. The caption here, and if for a brief moment they entertain the least suspicion, the dark watchers will literally evaporate in front of your eyes like the fog. In Search of the Dark Watchers, Landscapes and Lore of Big Sur, Field Sketches and Paintings by Benjamin Brode, Field Notes by Thomas Steinbeck. Looks like copyright 2014. To all who search. When visitors come to the Big Sur wilderness on California's central coast, they're often struck by how mystical and remote it feels. Some people even return with tales of encounters with a presence, a fleeting glimpse in the sun-dappled shadows, an eerie feeling in the stillness of the trees. Could such accounts be the result of a sensitive imagination, or are they a validation that the Dark Watchers live on? Stories of these elusive beings persist and get passed down from generation to generation. On a fateful, foggy evening not long ago, Thomas Steinbeck told California landscape painter Benjamin Brode about the legendary Watchers who roam the wilds of Big Sur. The particulars of the account have been told to Steinbeck as a child, and authenticated by such credible sources as his grandmother, Olive Hamilton, and Billy Post, the descendant of El Sur Grande ranchers, and at the time, the resident sage of the Post Ranch Inn. Hand-drawn map of Big Sur. Past his prologue. Though I might cast a bemused eye upon the expeditions in search of the Loch Ness plesiosaur, or the North American Sasquatch, or the Central African Apatosaurus, I take the existence of diminutive hominids, little people, very seriously indeed. There certainly seem to be numerous cultural references made about such human-like creatures from all around the Pacific Rim. And though the Hawaiian menehune, at least in their mythological sense, might rival leprechauns for improbability, these skeletal remains of miniature humans have been discovered along the Indonesian archipelago, and reference to such beings are common among numerous Pacific Polynesian cultures. For this purpose, my focus rests primarily on a group of diminutive beings that make their home in the mountains, canyons, and wild coasts of the Big Sur in central California. I've discovered that these are several coastal Native American cultures, that there are several coastal Native American cultures in California that have always kept replete and detailed oral histories. And almost every tribal example maintains some reference to a species of elusive hominids that dwell in the dark recesses of the forests or the mountains. They are called by many names, but in reference to the Big Sur alone, these diminutive beings have always been known as the Dark Watchers. It wasn't just the native populations that acknowledged the existence of such secretive creatures. The early Spanish explorers as well as the later Mexican ranchers and their vaqueros, called them Los Vigilantes Oscuros. As might be expected, the nagging question has always remained, how does one find these creatures? And the answer has always been the same. You don't find them. They find you. It makes little difference either way, since they have never willingly shown themselves to anyone, including local native populations. 99 out of 100 times, a person would never know the Watchers were there at all. I'm quite sure that many more people conduct organized and costly searches for Bigfoot, while very few, if any, have made serious efforts to verify the existence of the Dark Watchers. Of course, that is to be expected, if only because people have always preferred to vest their emotional interests in improbable semi-Paleolithic monsters, or planet-eating alien microbes bent on universal destruction. These computer-generated entities could prove to be truly malevolent and possibly lethal, and therefore warrant our immediate attention. Whereas the totally unobtrusive and diminutive Dark Watchers, creatures who have never demonstrated the least inclination toward mayhem, have never executed any damage, or purloined private property, obviously deserve little interest whatsoever.